Tampa Bay. And Eric Red at the 1-yard line returns for the Buccaneers. And he does not get to the 20-yard line. Good coverage by the Packers on the opening kickoff. Brett Favre, who has had some outstanding games, will go against Trent Dilfer, who has 20 touchdown passes, one more, and he sets a franchise record. George Diaz moving from right guard to left guard with the injury to Jim Pine, and Frank Middleton, the rookie, at right guard. Warrick Dunn, the rookie, who's been outstanding, along with Mike Allstott, and Riddell Anthony, another first-round pick at wide receiver. 1st and 10 on the 17. And a handoff to Warrick Dunn, and Dunn doesn't get much. Gilbert Brown making the tackle, and be a lot of focus on Brown, along with Reggie White, have been banged up and have not played complete games. They will be spelled today. Brian Williams, Bernardo Harris, and Seth Joyner, the linebackers. Joyner did not play the last time these teams met. Doug Evans and Tyrone Williams are the corners. Eugene Robinson and Leroy Butler, the safeties. 2nd down and 9.
Here's the key right inside.
And here is Mike Allstott, and he doesn't get much. It'll be 3rd down and about 7 or 6 for the Buccaneers.
You think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't know where that man Gilbert Brown is right now? You better believe it, because Gilbert Brown, that big rear end right there, he's the whole key. See, he sets the point of a defense. And did you see how 51 can just float around back there? That's Williams. See, when Gilbert Brown takes on 2 guys, there's somebody else to come clean.
3rd down and 6 on the 21-yard line. 3 wide receivers, and Warrick Dunn in there as well. Jackie Harris, the tight end, moves out to the slot. Trent Dilfer with his first pass attempt of the game, and it's caught by Carl Williams. And Williams into Packer territory, and a 1st down. A gain of 35 yards with Doug Evans making the tackle.
He had time to throw, and then Doug Evans just missed Williams right at the top. They're going to go at their 4th down. They keep 5 people in and an extra guy up top just to keep his eye on Reggie White. Because they gave him the time there, and Evans outside gets picked. Did you see the pick? Now that puts Williams up top. And that's a nice job of coaching, of understanding where your coverages are, and you just use it against you.
Carl Williams did not catch a pass in the first game between these teams. Catches a big one here. 1st down on the Green Bay 44. And again they go to the run, and Warrick Dunn looking for an opening, and Bernardo Harris, the middle linebacker, quickly to the ball, and a loss of 1.
I think for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what they talked about all week was opportunities. When they're presented, you have to take advantage of them. And I think that 3rd down right there is a perfect example of taking those opportunities. One point in this game, somebody's going to come clean. There's going to be a chance for an interception. When you have those shots, you got to make them.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers can match a franchise record of 10 victories with a win today. 2nd and 11, 2 tight ends in the lineup. And Dilfer with a short drop, and the pass is caught Riddell Anthony, and a flag is down inside the Green Bay 40-yard line. Tyrone Williams making the tackle on the rookie Riddell Anthony from the University of Florida. Phil Luckett is our referee this afternoon, and the penalty will be against Green Bay.
This officiating crew, incidentally, in my opinion, is the best out there in the league.
I would second that.
And this is a good group. I think Luckett does a good job of keeping his group under control.
Pass interference, defense, number 37. That's an automatic 1st down.
You're going to watch is just a matchup outside. Tyrone Williams has really improved his game. And great coverage and a nice job there by Riddell Anthony of just using the hands. They're letting them play. That's what I was talking about, that officiating crew. They do a good job of letting the players play.
Mike Holmgren's team coming off 2 impressive wins over the Cowboys and the Vikings. 1st down on the 39-yard line of the Packers. And here's Warrick Dunn, and he doesn't get much. First to hit him was Brian Williams. one of the outside linebackers, and a pickup of 1.
Now, sometimes when you're watching the defensive line, you watch a guy like Gilbert Brown, and he's getting blocked by 2 guys all the time. See, there's the other one. See, Bernardo Harris can come clean. Now, as soon as that happens inside, you have to think about Reggie White on the outside. Now you have 2 people taking care of him. Here comes Leroy Butler, the other backers. So when you start having to account for people inside, somebody else come clean.
And this defensive unit was outstanding in the victory Monday against Minnesota. 2nd down and 9, and a play action pass coming up, and the pass incomplete and through the hands of Riddell Anthony. Tyrone Williams, and defending Gilbert Brown is shaken up. Mike Holmgren was hoping he would play more today than the 13 snaps he played against the Vikings Monday.
Well, he's got a high ankle sprain, and they're running a stunt with him right here. Oh, there you go. Hey, there's a perfect example of what I was talking about in the pregame show. See, and that's a leg whip, and hopefully it doesn't affect his ankle. But unwritten rule in the National Football League, if a guy's injured, you read those injury reports, you know which ankle it is. And sometimes you just kind of fall on that ankle.
It's the stark reality of football, I guess.
You know, the coaches, the Green Bay coaches were talking about it prior to the game. They were saying teams have been taking their shots on Gilbert Brown and his ankles.
6 defensive backs for the Packers. 3rd and 9. Warwick Dunn shifts to the slot, and here is Leroy Butler putting the pressure on Dilfer, and the pass downfield incomplete. Dunn was the intended receiver, but Butler came clean, as you like to say, on the quarterback.
Butler came clean, and that's Fritz Shermer, the defensive coordinator. He's going to roll the bones. He understands. So he's going to bring his 4 people. Butler is going to come right inside. Just goes right to the outside, and they don't account for him. And that's the mistake you make with Butler. He's an outstanding blitzer, and you have to account for him in pass protection.
Sean Landeta, who took over for Tommy Barnhart, who went out with a broken collarbone. Derek Mays, along with Mike Pryor, back deep for the Packers, and a fair catch is called for. And it takes a Tampa Bay bounce and is down finally at the 17-yard line. No score. Tampa Bay's offense got into Packer territory, but they could not muster a scoring attempt. And now Green Bay with their first play of the game from the 16, and Brett Favre dumps it off to Mark Shimura. Fumble, and the looks like Hardy Nickerson is recovered for Tampa Bay.
And that is a fumble. Hardy Nickerson is the guy who comes up with the ball. The guy who made the play inside, I believe was Warren Sapp. Got himself a push right upfield and forced Favre to throw that thing outside.
Favre was totally stunned by the pressure by the Buccaneers, and a turnover on the first offensive play of the game by the Packers.
Watch Donnie Abraham right there, and John Lynch is the guy who got his hand in and forced that thing out. And Nickerson was able to beat Brooks to the ball. And we talked just at the start thing. They knew they were going to have opportunities. When they showed up, they had to take advantage of it.
And let's see whether they can get points out of this. 1st and 10 on the Green Bay 13. Keep it on the ground to Mike Allstott, and he is upended by Leroy Butler and picks up 3. Mike Allstott having a brilliant year and could be a Pro Bowl favorite for the fullback position, although he is more a running back than a fullback. And there you see Gilbert Brown coming back into the lineup for the Packers.
I think it's interesting how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers use Dunn and Allstott. And they just kind of go on field. And when one of them gets humming, they just keep feeding them.
Allstott again cutting inside, and he gets to the 6-yard line. Eugene Robinson coming up from his free safety position, and a gain of 4 yards. Allstott, who gained 56 yards and scored a touchdown in the game against the Packers at Lambeau back in October.
This is a game for the safeties of the Green Bay Packers. They have to play well because they have to tackle well. Eugene Robinson has done a decent job of hitting people, but not always wrapping his arms. Today, he's got a wrap.
George Kuntz in the game at linebacker for Green Bay. 3rd and 3. Dilfer has some time.
Great coverage.
Dilfer trying to get away from Gilbert Brown and finally throws it away, and you're absolutely right. The Packers blanketed all of the Buccaneers receivers in the end zone.
And he's looking all over the field. And first he's going to try to find Carl the Truth Williams. Nothing to go to. Doug Evans right there, and don't forget the underneath coverage. And then Doug Evans on the outside misses a jam to the other side. You see the safety sitting underneath? Nowhere to go. His outlet was going to be outside. He's going to look inside to the tight end. He had nowhere to go with Robinson. The last guy was Warwick Dunn, and Williams did a great job of jumping that.
Brilliant job all the way around by the Packers. So Michael Houston on to attempt a 24-yard field goal. And this kick is good. So the Buccaneers get 3 points following the fumble and lead the Packers 3-0. Taking a 3-0 lead on Michael Houston's 24-yard field goal here in the first quarter. In what is happening here in Tampa Bay. A 4-play, 7-yard scoring effort. Houston kicking off. Aaron Hayden and Don Beebe back. And Beebe on the return. He's got good speed. Don Beebe downfield, stepped out of bounds at the 46-yard line. His own 46. But an outstanding return of 39 yards by Don Beebe of the Packers.
Well, he does a nice job of following the wedge and just finding the open space. When you're returning kicks, it's all field. And the wedge in front of you just has to pick up people. And as they come, you have a designated area. And as they come, you're just running to where no one is. Beebe has to use his vision. Did a great job, got to the sideline.
And the Packers have great field position as they start the drive on their own 46. High formation. Now split. Here is Dorsey Levens, who has gone over 100 yards 3 straight games, and he picks up 2 on the play. Now the Green Bay offense and Brett Favre, who's had great games against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 9-1 record. Ross Verba has more than held his own. The rookie at left tackle with that offensive line. Levens second in rushing behind Barry Sanders in the NFC. Freeman and Brooks, dangerous receivers. This is a potent offense. 2nd down and 8. And
it's a hard count.
Hard count, and the flag was down as Brett Favre quickly jumped on it and trying to draw the Tampa Bay Bucs offside.
See, Frank Winters is as good as it gets inside at being a sneaky center. I mean, he's a throwback to the old days where you understand when to snap it and when not to. He wiggles the ball when he has to. He'll give you that extra little move when you have to. He's a smart football player. I think it's one of his biggest assets. The other thing with Frank Winters is he makes all the calls up front. And so to play center in this league, you have to see the same things that Favre is seeing.
And the hard count worked because the penalty is against Tampa Bay. Tony Dungy not agreeing with that call. 5-yard penalty against the Buccaneers. Defensively, the strength of this team, the defensive line, with Reagan Upshaw, Warren Sapp, Brad Culpepper, and Chidi Ahanotu. Derek Brooks, who can run, with Hardy Nickerson and Jeff Gooch, who's starting in place of Rufus Porter. Anthony Parker and Donnie Abraham are the corners. Charles Mincy and hard-hitting John Lynch at strong safety. 2nd down and 3, just in Tampa Bay territory. And Brett Favre looking to throw, can't find a receiver. Now he does, and the pass is knocked away, incomplete, intended for Robert Brooks. Good hit by Mincy downfield. And right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Dick and Matt, take a look at Bobby Hoying on the opening drive for the Eagles. Throws a pick, one-handed by Jesse Armstead. Giants offense can't score. Well, guess what? The defense says, leave it up to us. Giants, as you know, control their own playoff destiny. Philly needs a victory to stay in the hunt. Back to Dick and Matt.
Giants with a one-game lead over both the Eagles and the Redskins, who play later at Arizona. 3rd down and 3. Favre has time, and he drills the pass. It's caught inside the 30 by Robert Brooks.
Incomplete.
And now they rule he did not hold on. Charles Mincy was covering.
Charles Mincy and those safeties back there are whacking some people.
John Lynch, of course, who always does.
And that's rubbed off. Because this ball's right where it has to. Watch Brooks to the inside. He turns Parker around. Here comes the welcoming committee. That's the 2nd play in a row that Mincy has made where his hard hits have negated catches. Because the ball's been there. They should have been caught. But Mincy's the difference.
He did not start the year at free safety. Melvin Johnson did. But Mincy has been a fixture lately. Craig Hendrick, leading punter in the NFC. Carl Williams will let the ball bounce. And the Packers unable to keep it in the field of play. Good hustle by Travis Jervey, nonetheless, a touchback. And when we return to Tampa Stadium, it'll be Buccaneers ball on the 20. This is Dick Stockton. The Buccaneers leading 3-0. Will have the ball on their own 20-yard line with 7:04 remaining in the first quarter. Come out with 2 tight ends. Out of the I formation. Mike Allstott gets some running room as he brings it out for a gain of 5. Santana Dotson in on the play.
When Mike Allstott is the running man, he's the feature back, which is basically what he is. When he's that guy, the guy who becomes the fullback are their 2 tight ends, either Hape 82 or Moore 83. And what that does is it gives you flexibility in your offense to be able to run a 2 tight end offense, find out where your safeties are, or you line them up in the backfield and use them as a fullback.
Patrick Hape, rookie from Alabama, is that 2nd tight end. 2nd down and 5. And Dilfer's pass, and not on the mark at all. Riddell Anthony defended by Tyrone Williams, and it was off the mark. That will bring up 3rd and 5.
This is the recipe that Mike Schuler, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Bucks, uses so effectively. He runs and runs, creates 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 5 or less, and then he comes at you with play action. Or he'll give you the play action on 2nd down. But their key is to create 3rd and 5 or less.
They bring 4 receivers, one of which is a tight end. Rob Thomas also in there, number 84. 3rd down and 5. Pressure is picked up the middle, and this pass is caught by Rob Thomas, and it is a completion and a 1st down to the 35-yard line. Good protection for Trent Dilfer that time, and a pickup of 10 yards.
Nice protection, but a nice catch by Thomas on the other end. Watch, the ball is bobbled a little bit. He's got to get both feet in bounds and control. There's the control. There's the feet. Look at that. Doesn't get much better than that. And an excellent job by the officials right on top of it.
And right now, Reggie White and Gilbert Brown are on the sidelines with Darius Holland and Bob Kaburski on the defensive line for the Packers. And a fumble. Mike Allstott fumbles, and the Packers indicate they have it, and they do. Green Bay makes a recovery on a fumble by Mike Allstott. They've got it in Tampa Bay territory. Eugene Robinson appeared to get the loose ball.
Well, it was about opportunities both ways. And here comes the Green Bay opportunity. Mike Allstott, just a straight lead. Makes his cut right there, and nobody hit him. The ball just flopped out.
So an opportunity for the Packers. First turnover by the Bucks. And on the draw play, Dorsey Levens hitting the ground and losing 2 yards right away. Never really had a chance to get underway.
Well, you talked about the Tampa Bay defense, and the strength of that is their front 4. Their front 4 give you lots of movement, and the guys who clean up are those linebackers. Hardy Nickerson, Derek Brooks can flat out fly. And talking to Derek Brooks, he said Jeff Gooch is the guy who might be the fastest of all of us.
And he's starting today for Rufus Porter. 2nd and 12. And let's see whether Brad Culpepper was drawn by the Packer offensive line.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 72. 5 yards, still second down.
Earl Dotson, the Tampa Bay defense, the last 4 games have allowed only 36 points, 3.9 yards per play. And as you mentioned, Matt, that is the reason why they are challenging for the division lead. And right now, the Packers with -1 total yardage. Second down and 17 following the penalty. Brett Favre looking downfield.
6 points.
And his pass is caught for the touchdown. Robert Brooks. 43-yard touchdown catch. And that's what having a Brett Favre on your team can do.
And that's what having the legs under Brett Favre will do for you. See, Favre's ability to buy time with his feet is the difference in this play. He gets the protection. You can watch. He's going to have time, and he has time to step up. But that right there, see, that time and sense of knowing where the line of scrimmage is the difference in the play.
He threw it off his front foot, and he threw it a long way. Ryan Longwell with the extra point is good, and Brett Favre with his 29th touchdown pass of the year to a wide-open Robert Brooks. And the Packers lead the Buccaneers 7-3. Catch of the year from Brett Favre on a beauty, an ad-lib pass, great catch, and the Packers lead 7-3. So the fumble by Allstott results in a Green Bay touchdown. Each team has capitalized on a turnover. Here's Carl Williams returning the kickoff for the Buccaneers, and he runs right into Chris Darkins.
When I talked about Brett Favre, I want you to watch Favre and then you watch Brooks. Favre's on the top side. You can see everybody's in their zone sitting back. Now here comes Favre. He goes up. Watch Mincy. As he takes up, Mincy anticipates and bails out of coverage. And there's the difference. As he comes anticipating Favre to the top side with that arm, as you said, Dick, feet weren't even right, but the arm's so strong it gives him 6 points.
Robert Brooks coming back from a bad injury last year on his knee. Now Tampa Bay with the ball. First down on their 25. Warwick Dunn is the setback. And here is Warwick Dunn. He had 3 carries for no yards, but he gets 10 yards on this carry. Close to the first down. Bernardo Harris and Eugene Robinson, and that will move the sticks for the Buccaneers.
You know, so many people talk about Warwick Dunn and compare him to Barry Sanders, but I don't see that. I mean, he has some of that magic in there. He reminds me of James Brooks. Was in Cincinnati and went to San Diego. And here's the reason why. He runs extremely well between the tackles.
They go to Dunn again. And Warwick Dunn, and that's why they feel he can get to tough yards inside. He showed it on that play.
And I mean, Warwick Dunn, let me tell you something. Warwick Dunn is 5'8". He's a shrimp, but he understands how to run low. He only weighs about 175 pounds. Now, just imagine that you're a defender, okay? You're a safety. You go, where the heck is the guy? Who's got the ball? Who do I hit? And then all of a sudden, there he shows up, and all you see is this. See, the 2'8" on top of his shoulders.
He gained 125 against the Packers in Green Bay this year. Second down and 2 on the Buck 43, and they give it to Dunn again, and Dunn will be short of the first down by about a yard.
The other thing impressive about Warwick Dunn is he's always going forward. You don't see him getting rejected going backwards. He may be stopped at the line of scrimmage, but he seems his legs are always going and he's moving forward.
Question about his durability when he was drafted, but Tony Dungy told us that at training camp we saw what he could do at pass protection, and we didn't worry anymore about his durability.
Now the other side to that is, as they go, it's now 3rd and short. You have to be careful how much you use it.
3rd down and 1, and a pass play, and the pass is caught. First down to Carl Williams on an underneath pattern. So the Buccaneers will get another first down. Bernardo Harris making the stop. Williams, who was shut out in the previous game at Lambeau Field, has already caught a couple of passes for good yardage.
Both of these quarterbacks are on right now because there has been good coverage and the balls have been delivered and the catches have been made. With Brett Favre's case, Charles Mincy caused 2 incompletions, but the balls were not high like sometimes happens to him early.
First down on the Buccaneer 48. Swing pass, and holding onto it is Warwick Dunn. And Brian Williams and Bernardo Harris both there. A loss of 2 yards on the play. Green Bay covered that pass well.
Well, the other thing they covered is Reggie White. Now, here's the case with Reggie. Everybody's saying he's not the same guy. You know, and he doesn't play, he takes plays off, does all this stuff. Look at this. There's 1, there's 2. What does that mean? When Reggie White is on the field, he still has a presence. You have to know where he is, and you have to always make sure he's blocked.
He'll be 36 in 2 weeks, and he can still get it done. Second down and 12. And there's the handoff to Dunn. Warwick Dunn, and Leroy Butler brings him down, and that will bring up 3rd down and long.
There's a player, Leroy Butler. Interesting talking to Trent Dilfer about Leroy Butler. I mean, he was effusive in his praise, but the one thing that struck with me was he said the man's not afraid. He has that look in his face. He doesn't care if he has to cover the guy in the slot, if he has to be a linebacker, if he's blitzing. He just believes he'll get the job done.
How many guys can control the defense from the strong safety position? Gilbert Brown out of the game. 3rd and 9. For the Bucs, 3 wide receivers on the left side, and a penalty. Appears to be against Tampa Bay.
Snap, false start, offense, number 12. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
That was the quarterback, and that will bring up 3rd down and 14 for Tampa Bay. We have 18 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Packers lead the Buccaneers 7-3. Both teams scoring as a result of turnovers. But the Packers getting 7. Trent Dilfer stepping up, and Gabe Wilkins got him. Gabe Wilkins got his leg and will pick up the sack. It was Wilkins who returned an interception 77 yards for a touchdown in their previous meeting. That is the end of the first quarter with the score. The Packers 7 and the Bucs 3. Gabe Wilkins, who got credit for the sack, but Seth Joyner really finished it off for the Packers. And on 4th down, Sean Landeta will be kicking to Derek Mays. Low line drive kick and returnable for Mays inside the 10. And great coverage. And that's what the Buccaneers have done well all year. Kick coverage and backing the opposition deep into their end. Well, Tony Dungy has gone against Brett Favre before when he was with the Vikings defensive coordinator. Great respect for the Green Bay quarterback.
Brett is a fantastic athlete as well as a good quarterback, and he makes so many plays improvising that you can't practice against. You can't script. You just got to react to it when it happens, and that's the biggest problem that he presents, and the most frustrating thing. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
It was evident on that touchdown as play up the middle. Dorsey Levens tackled by Melvin Johnson, and a gain of 3 yards. Melvin Johnson at the safety position started that year in place of Charles Mincy. Mincy has come on, but now Melvin Johnson is in there, and now he is removed. Floyd Young, the nickel cornerback, number 31, is checked in for the Buccaneers. 2nd down and 7, and a running play off tackle by Levens. And Levens close to the first down. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Dick and Matt, defensive score is a theme so far between the Giants and the Eagles. Cannell fumbles. Charles Dimry, hey, look at this. He didn't draw it up that way, but he gets it at the 3. Eagles capitalize with the Ricky Warner's TD, all tied at the vet. Back to Dick and Matt.
All right, JB, and next Saturday we'll be with you as the Redskins and the Giants meet at Giants Stadium beginning at noon Eastern. 3rd down and 2. Brett Favre's pass caught by Mays, and that will be a first down. He was covered by Donnie Abraham.
Dick, he had no shot for that. I'm going to tell you why. Favre threw that ball before the receiver ever looked. That ball is gone, and the receiver's still in his route. And right at the end, he turns, and that's just anticipating. Mays worked Abraham up the field. Favre threw it to his spot.
Gain of 11 yards. Packers with a first down on their 29, leading 7-3. Favre is going to throw, and there is Antonio Freeman with his first catch of the game. The big play receiver picks up 15 yards and to the 43.
Brett Favre is where he was and where he left off Monday night. This ball, every throw he's made has been a completion. Now he has 2 incompletions, but they were caused by hits. Look at that ball's thrown. The only place it can be thrown. Anthony Parker is right on top of Freeman, but the ball is perfect.
Antonio Freeman, 2 of his touchdown catches against Tampa Bay earlier. First down on the 43, and here is a reverse. Dorsey Levens to Robert Brooks. And you even saw Favre out there blocking, but finally brought down by John Lynch or Anthony Parker.
Dick, he got in the way. Favre got in the way.
So he didn't block well.
In his exuberance to make a hit, he looked like a lineman that time. And he knows it too. He's smiling to himself. He's smiling because as much as he wanted to get a whack on somebody, he couldn't get his feet to be going in the right direction. Look at this. But actually a smart move by Brooks. See, Brooks used him and then cut back underneath.
He kind of used him as a screen. 2nd down and 6. Favre rolling out, and he's got Mark Shimura. And Shimura with another Packer first down into Tampa Bay territory. And now the Packers, who lead 7-3, moving, as you mentioned, crisp offensive play.
Well, in the pregame show, you heard Terry and Ronnie and Howie and JB talking about this, and one of the points that was brought up was if Green Bay brings their A game, if they're on and Favre is on, they're the best team in football. And right now, instead of that coming out high, 5 of 7, 2 of them were based on hits. This guy's off.
First down at the 47. And the give to Dorsey Levens, who picks up about 2. Jeff Gooch on the tackle.
Dorsey Levens, when you look at him, you watch him on tape, he's not ultra quick. He's not ultra strong. He's not ultra fast. He just has a great package of all of those things. And he's deceptive. And he's gotten better as the season's gone on. He's also in excellent shape.
Those are his numbers, but he handled the burden when Edgar Bennett went out with an injury early, and he's handled it well. 2nd down and 7. Here is Dorsey Levens, and Levens gets inside the 40. Brad Culpepper riding him and a pickup of 5 yards, and that will bring up 3rd down and short.
One of the quiet members of that offensive line for the Packers, and I believe they're playing their best right now, has been Earl Dotson. Interesting thing about Earl Dotson, at the beginning of the season, he was having lots of problems with migraine headaches. And he was getting to the point where he was only sleeping maybe 2 or 3 hours a night. And they finally gotten that part straightened out, and he's played even better.
9th play of the drive. 3rd down and 2. And Levens won't get there, and that's Charles Mincy again with a big hit. And it'll bring up 4th down.
And they walked him up. He anticipated that right at the start. Mincy snuck up. And when you're a safety coming up like that, you have to have the eyes of a running back. You're going to watch him. He's going to show up. Watch this. Now, he has to see the same thing that Levens does. And what he sees is the hole open, and he beats the block of Robert Brooks inside to make the play.
Greg Hendrick, the leading punter average-wise in the NFC, will boot it, and Carl Williams is back for Tampa Bay. And this kick will go into the end zone, a touchback. Travis Jervey again trying to save it. He can't, and we'll be right back to Tampa Bay in just a moment. Tampa, where the Buccaneers playing with a shuffled offensive line. Jim Pine, the regular left guard, out with a groin injury. Actually, he could play. And George Diaz moving from right guard to left guard, and the rookie Frank Middleton, who played so well against the Giants a week ago. First and 10 at the 20. Warwick Dunn cutting inside, and with Santana Dotson on his back, picks up 5 on the play.
That offensive line you were just talking about, who really they really played extremely well last week. George Diaz, Tony Mayberry, Jason Odom, Paul Gruber, Middleton. Those guys against the New York Giants, really, they took the game over, and they won it by running inside. And they're trying to establish that now against this Packer defense.
Gilbert Brown and Reggie White in the lineup. 2nd and 5, done. And grabbing a hold of him is Seth Joyner, who did not play the first time these teams played. In fact, that was Wayne Simmons' last game in a Packer uniform back in October. No gain on the play.
What they gained with Seth Joyner was a student of the game, and a guy who knows how to play in big games, and a guy who fit right in.
George Kuntz will come in the game. He suffered a torn ACL in the playoff game against the Niners last year and just returned last week. Third down and 5. Trent Dilfer stepping up, and his pass knocked away, intended for Anthony, and it was Tyrone Williams.
He is playing very well. Tyrone Williams has elevated his game. At the start of the season, he got thrust in week 1, and then he kind of hit a little bit of a lull. And now I believe he understands the scheme, knows where his help is, and has really gained confidence from that New England game on, where he made some big plays down in the goal line.
Took the place of Craig Newsome. A tall order to fill. There's Derek Mays back to receive the punt from Sean Landeta. Landeta gets off a high kick. Fair catch called for by Mays as he steps out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So with 7:34 to go in the first half, the Packers lead 7-3.
Are the wide men who have to make the play, and they also draw the double team, and you have to have a plan. Tyrone Leggett up top, he just gets buried. So you cross him out. Then I want you to watch Lamont Hollingquist, 56. See, he was working with his other guy, but you never pass up a chance to take a shot.
You never did.
No, you can't. I mean, when they give themselves those opportunities, present themselves, you make sure you knock them down.
Packer fans nearly 30,000 strong today. First and 10 at the 37-yard line. In a 7-3 Green Bay lead, Brett Favre with a pump fake, a second pump fake, and Dorsey Levens underneath, and a gain of 5 yards.
That's what Tony Dungy was talking about. First it was the touchdown, and then it was that with Brett Favre. So you can't script that. You can't practice that in practice. You'd never know what's going to happen, because this comes down to just his eyes. And then a guy just getting open right at the last second. Heck, the coverage was right there. But Favre just has that great ability to find it. Bing, here it comes.
Brett Favre has completed his last 5 passes to the dismay of Tony Dungy. 2nd down and 5. Being chased by Ahanotu, gets away from the defensive lineman and runs for the first down. So Brett Favre, who's been ad-libbing and ad-libbing well in this first half, gets 7 yards for a first.
And he was going to go, and then he's going to try to get Freeman down the side, and nice coverage. And then after he could clear, he was going to look to Mays. Mays is pushing up the field, and they were trying to drag Chamor. You saw him clearing. But because Mincy is right there and the linebacker's there, Favre has to scramble, but again, picks up the first down. So a broken play, you defend it well, Favre beats you.
And it keeps the Tampa Bay defense on the field. More important, the Green Bay defense off the field. First and 10 at the 49-yard line. And a play fake.
Unbelievable.
Favre again running. And he'll be chased down finally by Brad Culpepper, but he got away again after pressure from Anthony Parker, the cornerback. The Packers.
You see what Culpepper did?
Yeah.
Culpepper made the tackle and took Favre's shoe and threw it away.
So the Packers' first 4 possessions, Matt, a fumble, which resulted in a field goal, 2 punch sandwiched around the spectacular touchdown pass to Robert Brooks.
Favre got tackled by Culpepper. Now they're going to have to take a time.
Back here at Tampa Bay, where the Packers lead 7-3, using up a timeout when Brett Favre lost his shoe or was taken away from him.
Well, you know, Brad Culpepper, watch him right down here. He has a shoe. He says, hey, I got your shoe. Hey, you looking for this? Here, you want it? Yeah, here, go get it. And then he goes by, you know, he gives a little tap on the slap of the hands right there. But that's the old, I got your shoe, take a timeout trick.
Brett Favre has rushed for 10 yards, but he's lost 1 shoe. 2nd down and 7, and here is Levens. Hanatu missed the tackle.
Oh, he made a fumble.
A fumble, and it's picked up by Donnie Abraham. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will get it back.
Hanatu does a great job. They tried the quick trap, and Dorsey Levens tried to duck underneath it, but Hanatu caught the arm. Heck, the ball went about 12 yards.
So the Packers fumble for the 2nd time in this first half, but leads. Back at Tampa, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after the fumble by Dorsey Levens, with a 1st down on their 40-yard line. 2nd turnover by the Packers in this first half. And a play fake. Trent Dilfer looking for a receiver, and there's one wide open. And this pass is dropped by Riddell Anthony. He was there, should have had it, and lost the ball.
There was the opportunity they talked about. You're going to have your chance. You got to take advantage of it. That one slipped through the rookie's hands. He beat Tyrone Williams right at the line of scrimmage. And he ran to the middle of the field, had the safety vacated, did everything right except for that. He never looked the ball all the way in. Just beat him basically with speed to the top side, and then he stumbles. Now look at the middle of the field, nothing there. His head was up, he never followed it in.
2nd down and 10 after a big missed opportunity by Tampa Bay. On the draw play, Warwick Dunn, and he is knocked back by Tyrone Williams. No gain on the play. Today's Aflac trivia question is, who was the last Packers running back to make the Pro Bowl? We'll have the answer coming up. Brett Favre, when he went off the field without his shoe before, suffered a slightly twisted ankle on that play. So he is not 100% and is over there on the sideline. So we'll keep an eye on number 4. 3rd down and 10 for the Buccaneers on their 40. Jackie Harris lines up in the backfield, the tight end. And Dilfer can't get away from Seth Joyner.
That's the other thing they found out about Seth Joyner that they didn't know they got, was that he has a great feel for rushing the passer. In the past, he's been a blitzer, but how they're using him is really inside, almost like another defensive lineman. Well, you can see number 54 is the smallest guy in there, but he knifes right through. And he beats Mayberry to the top side with his quickness.
Seth Joyner with an opportunity to play for a winner after the years in Philadelphia and Arizona. Sean Landetta kicking on 4th down. Derek Mays running up from the 21. Trying to turn the corner, and he is upended shy of the 35-yard line. Well, tonight on an all-new X-Files, a mysterious phone call and a bizarre murder all lead to one startling question. Has Agent Scully's sister returned from the dead? An all-new X-Files tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Watch Reggie White here. And then watch Rob Thomas on the other side just getting mauled. It's the life of a special teamer. You're a defensive end, you can expect that you're going to get double teamed, and when you're one of those flyers outside, you can expect that you're going to get mauled as well.
A lot of action going on out there during the kicks. Packers with a 1st down on the 33. And here is Dorsey Levens, and he is tackled from behind by Chidi Ahanatu. So the Buccaneers fail to capitalize on the Green Bay turnover, and the Packers maintain the 7-3 lead with 3:45 remaining in the first half. Low-scoring game anticipated, and that's what we've got at this point.
There's a lot of talking going down there in the line of scrimmage, both by the center, Frank Winters, and then Brad Culpepper.
Second down and 7. Favre intercepted. John Lynch. And John Lynch, still on his feet, is down at the 30 as Favre overthrew Robert Brooks.
Took off on him. There's the opportunity Tony Dungy was telling his team.
Season. Third Green Bay turnover. On the 28-yard return, the Bucs have the ball on the Green Bay 30. And here is Warwick Dunn. Very hard to pick up and finally knocked back by Bernardo Harris after a short game.
That interception, Favre had to throw high. You saw the play that Lynch made, but the guy who really made the whole play was Derek Brooks. And just in keeping the discipline and keeping his depth, he forced a high throw that created that turnover.
There is Brooks, one of the fastest linebackers in the league.
And one of the best linebackers in the league at his position.
Second down and 8, and here's Mike Alstott powering his way to the 25-yard line, and that will bring up a 3rd and 5. The turnovers have led to all the points in this game, with the Packers getting 7 and the Bucs 3. Who was the last Packers running back to make the Pro Bowl? The answer, Brent Fullwood in 1989. In fact, not since the merger, only 3 Packer running backs have made the Pro Bowl: John Brockington, Turdell Middleton, and Fullwood. 3rd down and 4 for the Buccaneers. Dilfer under pressure, and down he goes. Reggie White.
Great job by Brian Williams. Brian Williams is the whole key because they had the matchup they wanted. They want Warwick Dunn on the linebacker. And you're going to watch. He's going to come out down here and try to sneak. Good job, first of all, by Seth Joyner. And then because he can't make that throw, here comes everybody. Watch Seth Joyner to the top side. See, he gets the push, and then Brian Williams jumps it up top. And then the push inside creates the big sack.
There's an injured Tampa Bay player, and it's Trent Dilfer after that sack by Reggie White. White almost jarred the ball loose as well, and a timeout was called by the Buccaneers there first, and the clock's... Michael Husted is back. Here it is again.
Now he was looking to the top side, and then here comes the rush. Reggie just got him from the backside, and he just must have landed weird or something.
49-yard field goal attempt by Michael Husted with Steve Walsh the holder, and this kick down the middle, and the kick good. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Husted call it 48. There's Brett Favre, who suffered a slightly twisted ankle, but now Dilfer's been taken off.
Watch Brian Williams and Warwick Dunn. Their plan is to try to get Warwick Dunn manned up. And I want you to see what Williams does. He comes down and bing, right there. Knocks him to the ground. Once he knocks him to the ground, see, they were trying to swing him up here to vacate that whole area. Now here comes the pressure. He has a time to throw, but there's no receiver. Reggie White makes the play. That's the second time Brian Williams' coverage has given them a big play with their front.
Defensive step.
He's saying no choke on that play.
No. By no means. Michael Husted with the kickoff into the end zone, and Don Beebe will down it there for a touchback.
Game. So he'll be able to plug right in there and start running and pick up the same offense.
First down, Packers on their 20. Brett Favre off and running. And he slides shy of the first down by about 5 yards. Gain of 6. Packers still have 2 timeouts remaining. Second and 4. And a quick pass to Brooks. And there's Lynch and Mincy in on the play. Make it Abraham and Lynch. A gain of 11 and a first down. A hurry up offense.
This is where the system that Favre has down pat is invaluable.
Under a minute to go in the first half. And a completion on the near sideline to Antonio Freeman. And the clock stops short of the first down by a yard. Anthony Parker, good defense, but the catch nonetheless, and the clock stopping with 52 seconds.
This is where Favre, where in years past he didn't have complete control of the whole offense, and now he does. He sees things, he knows what he wants to do, and he positions your defense. He takes the position of your defense and uses it against you.
Second down and 2. Favre finds Dorsey Levens. So after a fake handoff to Levens, wide open up the middle underneath, a gain of 8 yards. Tampa Bay still ruining the drop pass by Riddell Anthony that would have been a certain touchdown. First down for the Packers on the Buccaneer 47. Green Bay is dominated here in the second quarter. And here is Derek Mays, and he is dropped at the 41-yard line by Floyd Young, short of the first down by about 5.
The other thing lost in here is how well this Packer offensive line gets to the line of scrimmage ready to play.
They've done this before. Under a half a minute to go in the half. And this pass caught by Freeman inside the 15-yard line. And now they're running up as the clock is running. Green Bay still with 1 timeout left.
See, the offensive line are doing a great job of getting set. Now they had to take a timeout. Favre didn't like it. He got down to 13. He took a timeout. That's what. But angles of defenders change, and now he wants to try to attack the angles of which you have to defend with.
Favre under pressure from Sapp.
Good play.
Throws it away. Warren Sapp chasing Brett Favre down, and now 5 seconds on the clock, and Mike Holmgren is going to send in his field goal team to get 3 more before the end of the first half.
Smart play by Favre, just getting rid of it. Much like Dilfer did in the first quarter after he was pressured, just threw it into the stands.
Ryan Longwell, the rookie from University of California, who was waived by the 49ers, will attempt a 32-yard field goal. And a bad snap, and it's blocked. Donnie Abraham trying to bring it up, but time will run out. So the snap was either bobbled or a bad snap, and the kick by Longwell was blocked, and that is the end of the first half. With the score still touchdown. The pass from Brett Favre to Brooks, 43 yards.
And what it was the legs of Brett Favre, which made the safety bail, and he's able to find him for 6.
Now Trent Dilfer went out with an injury, and the report is, and this was the play in which he got hurt, he has a sprained right ankle and will return, but he's come back on the field. Here it is, the injury once again.
And I'm watching him here warm up, and he's trying to drop back and push off it, and he's hobbling quite a bit.
Now this is what you just saw. He came back on the field.
That's actually pretty good. I was watching him in his pass drop, and he can't push off that right ankle. Because remember, he's a right-handed passer, and when he sets, he plants the right foot.
Completed 4 of 10 for 47 yards, and he'll get a little more of a breather before he has to go in. The Packers will get the ball first to start the second half. Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Packers trying to nail down their 3rd straight NFC Central title. Michael Husted kicking off. Don Beebe inside the 5. And Beebe runs into his own man. and is down at about the 26. Looking at the halftime statistics, you wonder what Mike Holmgren is saying. We're shooting ourselves in the foot with these numbers, only with a 1-point lead.
Well, if anything, is the rushing yards are not up to snuff. But the biggest thing is right here, the turnovers. The 3 turnovers is what's hurt them. And then Brett Favre knew that he wasn't going to be able to push things down the field. He's going to have to throw underneath, and you can see that he's got that done. But then the biggest thing, there's only 6 attempts past 15 yards. He's 3 for 6 past 15.
First down on the 25. Dorsey Levens with William Henderson blocking. Is a run out of bounds by Donnie Abraham and John Lynch after a pickup of 3 yards.
We talked about the pursuit of this Tampa Bay defense and how well they run to the ball, and it's not limited to the linebackers, which is usually where speed shows up. They're in their secondary, but this defensive line runs pretty well. Brad Culpepper, he'll get out there, as will Warren Sapp. Hanatu does a good job. Regan Upshaw, the other defensive end, they all get to the ball.
Second and 6. Favre has time, and he drills it, knocked away, and it should be incomplete.
Oh, I don't know. It depends if he was hit out of bounds.
Yes, he was. Robert Brooks by John Lynch.
So that's a good call. And here's the rule. If you're going to come down and your feet are going to touch in bounds and the defender hits you, they will rule it a completion. There's the catch. Now you have to determine if his momentum will come down in bounds. There's the hit.
Yes,
that's a good call. In fact, I'm not too sure he didn't get that other foot in. Watch. There's the catch. 1 foot in. That's a good catch anyway. That's a good catch anyway.
Super maneuver by Brooks to keep both feet in bounds. Gain of 18. Packers on their 47-yard line. First down. Favre with a pump, and he passes out to Levens as they try to strip the ball away, but a good gain of 6 yards with Abraham on the tackle. Green Bay turned it over 3 times. They dropped 2 passes, and the Packers also bungled that field goal attempt on the final play of the half, yet they still have a 7-6 lead.
You know, in most networks they miss them, but at Fox we bungle them.
Yeah.
We bungle the field goals.
We're good checking out bunglers. Second down and 4, and a great play by John Lynch, and a loss of a yard. Dorsey Levens and Lynch timed it perfectly, coming up from the strong safety position.
And it's that timing that I want to show you. And see, it's a cat and mouse game between Lynch and the quarterback, and then he has to have the perfect timing right there. Boom. Comes off clean. He beats the block inside, can't get there. You're unaccounted for. You force a third.
John Lynch.
Lynch is a player you're going to have to consider for the Pro Bowl as a safety.
And the quick toss off the hands of Brooks on 3rd down. So the Tampa Bay defense holds on 3rd down, and Brett Favre, who is right on the money with his tosses, one of the few errant passes he has thrown in this game, and that will create a punting situation.
Probably a little bit mad at himself because Floyd Young, the defender, slipped. Had the ball been thrown, he had a chance for a big play.
Carl Williams goes back deep, and Craig Hentrick to kick for the Packers. Good kick by Hentrick. Fair catch at the 22-yard line by Williams. 26 quarterback after suffering the sprained right ankle. Starting from the 22-yard line. Dave Moore in motion. And the give is to Mike Allstott. And he gets up to the 25, facing Reggie White, Santana Dotson, Gilbert Brown, and Gabe Wilkins. Second half of our Fox NFL doubleheader. Most of you will see the Vikings, who are fighting for their playoff lives, against the 49ers, who lost last week soundly at Kansas City.
And it's interesting, a team that who has the playoff already done. You can see they're battling for home field with the Green Bay Packers, which is why that game with Minnesota is such a big deal. It's a conference record. But they have to prove something to themselves right now, which is interesting.
They have to rebound. especially at this time of the year. Second down and 7. Dilfer with a short jump, and the pass intended for Anthony, incomplete, and Tyrone Williams on the coverage.
Now this, remember I talked about it being his right ankle. He's a right-handed player. He's got to come back. See the black tape? He's got to post with that foot and push off it. He's got to plant right there and throw off that ankle. Now what's happening now is they're going to have to get rid of the ball quick. This is where your inside pass rush becomes that much more important, because you can only take 3 or 4 steps and throw.
A 34 defense for the Packers as Gilbert Brown goes out. Third down and 7. They're trying to put pressure up the middle, and the pass overthrown, and that will bring up 4th down. Carl Williams was the receiver, and that wasn't close.
Yeah, you can watch him hobbling pretty good there. And that's what you said is exactly what you do. If you're Fritz Schirmer and you're the defensive coordinator, now you say, no mobility. He's got to sit in a pocket. Let's bring people from inside, which puts more pressure on your inside 3, your 2 guards and your center.
Dilfer 4 of 12 in the game, and Sean Landeta will kick from the 10-yard line. Derek Mays is back deep. Mays looking for the return. And once again, the Buccaneers do the job thanks to Tyrone Leggett. And there you look at the feet of Trent Dilfer, hobbling with the sprained ankle on that last incomplete pass.
Got Mays at the end. When you're lined up out there, you're on an island. You have to have a distinct plan of what you're going to get done.
Packers starting from the 27. Tampa Bay has not been able to sack Brett Favre yet today. Being chased and lets go of it. And incomplete pass.
Good call. He's right. He's outside that tackle box. It doesn't matter.
And he quickly went for it. And Tony Dungy is arguing. Feels there should be an intentional grounding call.
Well, here it is. It would be from tight end to tight end. Once he gets past this area and he throws at or beyond the line of scrimmage, which is here, he's clearly outside the area. It's within the rules. They put it in to protect the quarterbacks. Those are the rules. You live with them.
Even though there's no receiver anywhere near the ball. Second down and 10, Dorsey Levens. And he got a hit from Charles Mincy and a gain of 5 yards. Total yardage in a 7-6 game. Since the first quarter, the Packers have dominated. In fact, Tampa Bay -1 since that opening quarter.
Yeah, you see all these numbers here, but then look up here. See, and these are the ones that count.
Yeah.
At 7-6. You can take that other stuff, give it to Heave Hosky, because it's 7-6, and this is anybody's game.
Third and 5. Here comes the blitz from the secondary, and the pass is caught by Freeman. As Favre unloaded before the defensive back could get to him, a gain of 18 to midfield.
Nice job by the offensive line of taking care of the inside things, and then good awareness by Favre of feeling the pressure coming from the outside. Talking to Favre last night and Mike Holmgren, he knows he's not going to be able to get something deep down the field. He knew he was going to have to throw it underneath. And he's been able to get that done, as we showed in that graphic earlier.
Freeman, 4 catches for 67 yards. First down, and a quick toss left to Freeman. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it in a hurry, and the pass was low.
That's the 3rd dropped ball today by the receivers of the Green Bay Packers, because the offensive line has been doing a good job of protecting Favre. And why that's important is the left tackle spot with Ross Verba. I believe that Brett Favre is a much more confident guy with Verba at the left tackle than he had been earlier in the season.
Second down and 10. Favre drills it, and the pass is caught.
Oh, great catch.
Freeman makes the catch, and a flag is down.
And there's not much better coverage you can have by Anthony Parker. In fact, there's a flag that'll go against Parker. Second down would create 3rd and 5, so they'll take the penalty 1st and 10.
Well, that was a bang-bang play all the way. And Freeman has been a big receiver. That was his 5th catch of the game.
Charles Mincy took his helmet off on the field. That should be another flag.
On the defense. That's an automatic first down.
They took his helmet off.
I don't think they saw it.
They didn't. I mean, he was standing right in front of them. They couldn't see it. What?
Run.
Here, I want you to watch right down here. Here's the matchup. Ball comes clean. Nice break in the ball, sitting in the zone. Clearly, he hit him before there. Nice catch.
Antonio Freeman with 5 catches. He caught 2 for touchdowns. And now the Packers moving with a first down on the Tampa Bay 46. 9:25 remaining in the third quarter. Favre with a play fake up the middle and wide open.
Oh, nice hit.
Is the tight end Mark Shimura, and he took a lick at the 26 by John Lynch.
You know, that play is almost identical to the first game they played. I want you to watch Hardy Nickerson in his hands. There's the hands. There's the ball, rather. Here's the hands just over the top. Favre said last night, look, you don't have to be open by much to be open. He said last time Hardy Nickerson was standing right in front and I fired it over his head and he got his hands up just a little bit too late. Same thing happened again.
Gain of 20 yards and a running play to Dorsey Levens, who gets maybe a yard. Derek Brooks there to make the tackle. Brett Favre, who can roam and he can run. He is 15 of 18 in the pocket. He has yet to complete a pass out of the pocket when he has been chased by the Bucs, but they have not been able to sack him.
Well, here's what we're calling the pocket. See, you're just like this. The pocket is in here. But one of the biggest plays happened on the touchdown when he moved, not outside, but forced the pocket forward.
Second down and 9 from the 25. He releases it in a hurry to Shimura, and he's got a first down. It'll be close at the 15, depending on the spot of the ball.
That is what's called a side adjust. And the receiver, Shimura, and Favre have to be on the same page. Because as that blitz is coming, Favre has to see the blitz and know that Shimura is going to make the same break. And as he's coming, he just turns and fires it. Shimura did an excellent job of recognizing and getting to where he had to be.
He was the hot receiver on that occasion, and both coaches looking for the mark. It is a first down by a few inches. So it'll be first down Packers on about the 15-yard line. 7-6 the score. Favre to Brooks, the only touchdown of the game. Tampa Bay settling for 2 field goals. All of the points coming off turnovers so far. Here's Levens spinning his way to the 8-yard line, or the 12-yard line. Hardy Nickerson making the tackle.
Hardy Nickerson filled that thing quick. Hardy Nickerson, when I watch him, he does as good a job as any linebacker in this league in coverage. He understands the scheme, knows where he has to be. He still runs very well in his 11th year. Now, if you get a big body on him, you can negate Hardy Nickerson. But what he does so well is make those big bodies miss.
Second and 9, and up the middle, Levens. And Gooch had him first. And Derek Brooks finally brings him down, short of the first down by about 2.5 to 3 yards. The ball is at the 8-yard line, with third down coming up, and a big play for both sides. Tampa Bay trying to hold the fort and limit the Packers to a field goal. This will be the 11th play of the drive upcoming.
This is tough. You have to defend. You have to defend end zone first and then first down second.
They need 3.
Up, timeout by Lynch right at the last second.
Tampa Bay called the timeout. You're right. And a good,
excellent job by the offensive line of getting set. And because of their pace, getting there, over here, they were not set, which forced John Lynch to take the timeout and create this. See, Lynch recognized it. The pace was different on Green Bay's side. You got to take the timeout because remember what I said. You have to defend the end zone first and then the first down.
third down and 3, and this is where the Buccaneers have been tough all year. Let's see if they are against Brett Favre. Shimura in motion. On 3rd down and 3. And Brett Favre tries to escape, and the pass is caught. Touchdown to Dorsey Levens. Another ad-lib play that works for the Packers.
Boy, he was awful close to that line of scrimmage. He has a tremendous sense of where that line of scrimmage is. And that comes into play, and just in your mind, you can feel pressure, but you know, like a beeper going off, where you can't go past. You're almost there, think you stop and flip it through, and it's 6 points. Another example of having awareness of the pocket.
Heads up play and good concentration by Levens. Ryan Longwell's kick is good. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot stop the Pack from getting in the end zone. And
Yard line, and Brett Favre has that timing, that sense in his head of knowing where it's at. And then I want you to watch the official up top. See, he's going to go right there, and the umpire's standing right there as well. And they're going to eyeball this thing. Favre does a fantastic job right there. Right before he gets to the point, sees the field, sees Levens, 6 points.
And that is his 30th touchdown of the year, and no other quarterback in history has thrown for 30 or more 4 straight years. Kickoff returned by Riddell Anthony. Goes toward the sidelines and is out of bounds at the 21. So it was not a picturesque touchdown pass for Favre, but he goes into the record book. 30 or more touchdowns 4 straight years. And next Saturday, Matt and I will be at Giants Stadium as the Redskins and the Giants meet in a very critical NFC East showdown. And they played that 7-7 tie a couple of weeks ago in that weird game at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, and we'll see Jeff Hostetler, the former Giant, at quarterback for Washington.
It was a bungled game, wasn't it? I think that's what we hear at Fox.
That word again.
We refer to it as bungled.
There is the record established by Brett Favre. Pack leads 14-6. From the 21, Gimpy Trent Dilfer going up top for Riddell Anthony. And he was well covered downfield by Tyrone Williams.
They still don't have a guy who can push up the field all the time. Trent Dilfer still needs a speed receiver. You can see he's going to go back. Hey, he's not moving. He is right in here and here. That's where he's staying. You've got to get a pass rush and collapse the pocket now because he's not going anywhere. Then you can see, that's a tender baby. So he's not going to put any pressure on that thing.
Last 5 pass attempts have been incomplete by Dilfer, and Riddell Anthony, who is the speedster, has been shut out so far today. Second down and 10. Play fake and a lot of time. And this pass caught by Rob Thomas, who's just short of the first down.
You know, just watching Dilfer here, Howie Long is going to just send him a Howie Long tough guy hat. Because there's no question in my mind that his willingness to want to win and compete is overriding the pain. Because you can see it. And he's having forced to push off that thing and also protect it. I mean, look at it.
He is one tough hombre, Trent Dilfer. 3rd down and 1. 3 tight ends in the lineup and a running play to Allstott. And he has enough for the first down. Not going to deny Mike Allstott very often with 3 tight ends and that kind of impetus.
Well, with just under 5 minutes to play, we said at the start of the game that the large majority of this game would be won by the interior of the defense of the Packers. And Gilbert Brown, Santana Dotson done an outstanding job.
Gilbert Brown being helped up by Seth Joyner. Mike Holmgren was hoping he'd play more than the 13 plays that he played against the Vikings, but he limps off the field now, replaced again by Bob Kuberski. Tampa Bay first down was their first since the opening quarter of the game. They're on the 32. Play fake. Reggie White trying to get to Dilfer. And Dilfer overthrows Anthony out of bounds. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Dick, take a look at what's happening. New York Giants in Philadelphia. Danny Cannell throws a pick. Brian Dawkins, 64 yards to pay dirt. All the points in this contest scored with turnovers defensively. 21-14, Giants on top. Back to Dick and Matt.
You see that interception there. Brett Favre's mad at himself because he had a shot at a pick right here. See the one-hander? Now, it's interesting because when he's done, look, he's mad. I had a shot. The guy loves to play.
Second down and 10. And here's Mike Allstott. Tough to bring down, and Allstott will be short of the first down by about 5 yards as we wind down to 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
See Dilfer after he made that throw. You can watch him just hopping. He's just hopping on one foot. And the guy is a gamer, but here's the question now. At one point, he's going to have to make a determination. Either himself or the sideline, whether that is going to be the most and best thing for this team to do.
Third down and 4 on the Bucs 38. 8-point lead for the Packers. Flag is down. And a swing pass. This could be a free play for Tampa Bay. And Warwick Dunn out of bounds. He'll have the first down. And we'll check the penalty from the referee, Phil Luckett.
That was Seth Joyner had jumped inside. And they'll decline it, and they should take that spot right there.
And it is against the Packers.
Offsides, defense, number 54. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Well, in a game like this, 74,000 plus, a very hot ticket. The game, as we said, sold out since early August. More than 20,000 fans who are wearing the cheeseheads proudly today, hoping their team wraps up a division title, and that's what the Pack can do with a win. First down on the Tampa Bay 49. And the give is to Warwick Dunn. Sneaks into Green Bay territory in a gain of about 3 yards. Under 3 minutes remaining in the third. And of course, the Tampa area where a lot of baseball players are spawned. There is Doc Gooden on the right. Gary Sheffield of the world champion Florida Marlins on the left. Amongst the sporting luminaries here to see this pivotal game. And as we said at the outset, Matt, Green Bay Tampa Bay used to be a joke, especially down here. Huh?
No, it is the real deal, and you're getting it right now.
Second down and 6. Pressure on Dilfer. And his pass intended for Warwick Dunn, who got knocked down. And that will bring up third down.
That's the adjustment by Fritz Shurmur, their defensive coordinator. Now he knows you're going to have to get back there and throw, so you're going to bring some pressure on him. And he comes with a blitz inside, and that's smart football. Make him get out of that comfort zone where he can't sit inside and plant those feet. Now on the other side of the ball, Mike Shula has to rethink himself. Here's Mike Shula right here, the offensive coordinator. He's got to look at the plan. You're down only 14-6. You're moving the football. I think you don't change. Just stay with it.
Three wide receivers line up to the left. Dilfer, he can't move. And it's Eugene Robinson, and they can send everybody because Trent Dilfer can't get away from the rush. And you saw it graphically there on a loss of 7.
And what he was going to try to do was hit Rob Thomas coming back underneath. But Thomas actually tripped himself. And the ball was going to come out to this side right over here quick. But because Thomas tripped and Darren Sharper was right on top of him, Eugene Robinson can come off the corner and make the sack.
They've got to get him out of there because Steve Walsh healthy has got to be better than what we've seen here from Dilfer. 4th sack of the game by Green Bay. And Sean Landeta with a booming kick to Derek Mays inside the 5.
Didn't know where he was.
Mistake.
Yes, he did. You have to know where that 10-yard line is and set your feet. The ball goes over your head, you leave it go. He was unaware.
Poignant moment. Trent Dilfer with his face buried in a towel. He knows he's not delivering, and he is game and he's courageous, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are stuck in molasses with Dilfer, who has been knocked down, sacked. He's had to hurry with the sprained ankle suffered in the first half. Packers, meanwhile, with a first down on their 3-yard line, and Brett Favre comes out throwing, complete to Derek Mays, but right on him was Donnie Abraham.
Well, you saw Dilfer over there. You know what I think that is? Talking to him this week, this was his first big game in the league. And I think he's sitting over there thinking right now, I can't believe this has happened to me in the biggest game of my professional career. And it's just too much for him.
And the biggest game of this entire team's career in the second year under Tony Dungy.
See, he's beating himself up, and he shouldn't do that.
Steve Walsh throwing briefly on the sidelines. Second down and 5. Here is Dorsey Levens tripped up by Brad Culpepper, and that will bring up third down and about 6.
That Culpepper is a kid who always shows up, and he always is working hard. He's a real smart guy. He makes all the calls up front. But the thing I like about him is you never know who he is, because he's like he changes his face all the time. One time you see him, he looks like a businessman. Next time you see him, he looks like he's a Harley Davidson rider.
Third down and 4 at the 9. Last minute of play in the third quarter. And here is Favre's pass. It's caught by Freeman, and a first down to the 15. Floyd Young making the stop, and a big first down to get the Packers. Next, the Minnesota Vikings against the San Francisco 49ers. Playoff implications, home field implications ride on the second half of our doubleheader. Start of the 4th, first down for the Packers on the 15. Dorsey Levens trying to find running room, and does in a big way. Levens beyond the 30-yard line, and a gain of 18 yards before Charles Mincy stops him.
Nice job by the offensive line of the Packers, and then an excellent job of patience by Dorsey Levens. Because what he did there is just use all that flow, all this flow against him. See, everybody starts streaming to the football. He just here comes the backers. Now Levens starts, patience, back the other way. Excellent job of patience.
Packers with their second straight first down on their own 33, and they go to Levens again. Good block on Brooks, but a flag is down, and Levens runs out of bounds at the Green Bay 47. He picks up 4 pending the penalty, and it appears, and it will be, against the Packers.
And I think that was Frank Winters working on Brad Culpepper.
Holding offense, number 52. 10 yards.
Got it.
Still first down.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of your screen. There's number 52, Frank Winters, the center, working on Brad Culpepper right here. Culpepper anticipates it extremely well. Goes over the top, and there's the tackle. So you look on the game of the tackle sheet, there's going to say Frank Winters won. Unfortunately, it was a flag. But what that was Culpepper understanding what they were trying to do to him. So he jumped to the front side real quick.
This is an understanding defense with Dungy.
I understand.
First down and 20. Wide open is William Henderson with his first chance of the game. And Henderson gets back all but 8 of those yards.
That's what he looked like out there. That looked like Curly. You know, you forget about William Henderson. It's easy to forget about him because he's a quiet guy. He quietly does his job inside. And then he does stuff like this. Jump over one guy, run through 2 tackles, has very good feet, has very soft hands for a big man.
Through the air, the Packers have gained nearly 200 yards more than Tampa Bay. Second down and 7. Favre lets go of it, and incomplete. That was intended for Freeman. There's a penalty marker down, Anthony Parker, and another flag has gone down after the first one.
That's going to be a push on Parker. He ran up his back. Now the question will be, is it uncatchable or not?
Freeman is shaken up.
Lost in all that.
Pass interference
Right.
on the defense, number 27. That's an automatic first down.
Lost in all that was the nice blitz pickup. Off the corner, going to bring Lynch. Dorsey Levens does a good job of picking up the blitz. There's number 1. Okay. Number 2, there's the break on the ball. Clearly he hit him as he was making the break outside, and that's what the official saw.
Derek Mays has replaced Antonio Freeman, who's still being worked on. Anthony Parker's had a rough day out there for the Tampa Bay Bucks. From the 44, the give is to Dorsey Levens, and nothing there. Levens with his 17th carry of the game, and Mike Holmgren did not want to work him that much today. Remember, he carried 31 last week against Minnesota on a Monday, and 33, his career high, the week before against Dallas. So he has been a very busy running back for Green Bay.
See, the other part to that is if they were chunking him on defense and they had it going, he'd keep handing them the football. But this Tampa Bay defense has done a pretty good job of taking the run away.
Second down and 8. And pass complete to Shimura, and a good tackle in the open field made by Derek Brooks.
Right. This Tampa defense really gets to the football. Derek Brooks does an excellent job. And Derek Brooks isn't a big guy. He has very good instincts. He runs extremely well, and sometimes that's overplayed about how fast he is. Because more than that, the kid's a football player.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers looking to get into the playoffs with a win, thanks to support from the likes of Derek Brooks. 3rd and 5. Penalty marker down, and let's see if the right side of the offensive line moved for the Packers.
Prior to the snap, neutral zone infraction on the defense, number 72. The movement of the offense is caused by the defense being in the
Let's take a step back and look at the NFC playoff picture. The division winners go to the playoffs. Now the 49ers and Packers already in the playoffs. Niners have won the division title. Giants lead in the East. Right now, Tampa Bay would be the #1 wild card team. The Minnesota Vikings second, and the Detroit Lions, who face Miami on the road tonight, would be third. But all that could change, and Packers trying to join the 49ers as division titleists, and they can with a win today. Buccaneers get into the playoffs for the first time in 15 years if they can beat the Pack today. But they trail 14-6 early here in the 4th.
Well, you look at all those playoff things, and it's just a humdinger of a thing to try to figure it out. I mean, you can't figure it out.
And it always goes down to the last week, doesn't it?
As it should.
And as we anticipated, the largest crowd ever to see the Buccaneers play in this stadium today, 73,523. And you can tip your hat to a lot of the Packer fans as well, Matt, for their turnout as well.
No, you can tip your hat to all football fans because they can smell a good football game when they have one. And right now, we're in the middle of a real good one.
3rd down and inches. There is Henderson, 1st down and more. William Henderson to the 39-yard line of Tampa Bay. Not only got inches, he got 8 yards.
And he got it the old-fashioned way. He earned it. He just kept on driving. You watch William Henderson, and here he comes. Look at the pads, nice and low. Goes off the block of Bupshaw, runs over Mincy, and then here comes the rest of the boys. But just an excellent job of power running.
And the first rush of the day for William Henderson, who is one of the better lead blockers in the NFL now. From the 39, they go to Dorsey Levens. And that time, Hardy Nickerson, with help from John Lynch, make the tackle. 1-yard gain.
I think 2 players on this offense who have really made a difference in the running game. Actually 3. One is Dorsey Levens. As the season's gone on, he's got a feel for things. William Henderson, their big fullback, has done an excellent job of changing up how he blocks. Not only power, he'll finesse you and cut you. And then Ross Verba, that left tackle, completed the picture.
And remember, the Packers started this drive from their own 3. And we're back in Tampa after a Packer timeout. Once again, here's what's at stake. Packer victory delivers them a 3rd straight division title and a 1st-round bye. But if the Bucs win, they get their 1st playoff berth in 15 years. There is Steve Walsh and Trent Dilfer. One of them will be the quarterback soon. And on 2nd down and 9, Dorsey Levens on a swing pass has a first down inside the Tampa Bay 30-yard line.
Two things for that play. One is Favre and Levens on the same page for the hot read. And the other one, and maybe one you don't see, is Antonio Freeman making sure he takes the coverage of Dorsey Levens. Almost kind of a pick play. Just comes in, gets in the way, and down the sideline he goes.
There's Antonio Freeman, who is back in the game after being shaken up. And since the first quarter, it has been all Green Bay, but their lead is still only 8 points. There's Levens, and he gets a couple of yards on first down. Derek Brooks undercutting Dorsey Levens with under 9.5 remaining in the fourth.
Watch the expression on Antonio Freeman's face. See, he may not have known what was going on at the line of scrimmage. All he knew was it wasn't going his way, so he just kind of stayed out of the way. But I think Antonio Freeman, now as opposed to the beginning of the season, night and day. I think he's back on top of his game, and he's one of my favorite receivers in this league.
And he's had a big game with 5 catches for 73 yards. 2nd and 9. Pressure put on Favre, and he unloads it to Levens. Dorsey Levens with a first down, carrying Hardy Nickerson a few extra yards. And the Green Bay Packers are rolling. That was the 10th straight completion thrown by Brett Favre.
Tell you who else is on a roll is Ross Verba, the rookie left offensive tackle. Because he knows that it's coming quick, and he has to get his hands down. So you cut the defensive end Upshaw, and that allows the pass to come off. You can see right there. See that block right there? Allowed Levens to get into the flat. Excellent job by Verba.
He's only a rookie from Iowa, #1 pick, but very important to protect Favre from that left tackle spot. First down from the 15. And this time Dorsey Levens is tripped up by Derek Brooks, and a loss of a yard on the play.
You're going to have to earn every inch against that Tampa Bay defense. They're not going to give you any cheap ones. You can create some things, and when you look at the big picture of this game, the difference in the game today is Brett Favre. The first touchdown pass was brought to you by his legs. The second touchdown pass, again, by his legs and his sense of where that line of scrimmage is.
So he was sponsored by his legs.
Sponsored by his feet. Yep, you're right. And by his legs.
2nd and 11. Favre under pressure from Sapp and knocked away, nearly intercepted by Jeff Gooch. And that might have been a dangerous situation for Brett Favre and the Packers, who did turn it over 3 times in the first half, with the Bucs getting field goals on 2 of those turnovers.
This drive right here reminds me of the drive they had on Monday night against the New England Patriots when they drove 99 yards, I believe.
Turning point of the year, maybe.
Yeah, it may have been. And right now they're on a good one again.
3rd and 11. Favre stepping up, has another open man. It's Dorsey Levens once again, and he gets to the 10-yard line, short of the first down by about 5. Anthony Parker, who's had his problems covering the receivers today, and you can't really blame him with the great protection that Favre has gotten from his offensive line, and that will bring up 4th down and a field goal try coming up.
The other thing about Anthony Parker, sometimes he's had great coverage, but it's Favre threading the needle. I mean, there's sometimes you can't defend those balls.
Ryan Longwell had a 31-yard field goal blocked.
Bungled. It was bungled.
Bungled and blocked. This is a 27-yard attempt. And this kick, not bungled or blocked, but beautiful. It's a good kick by Ryan Longwell, and it adds to the Green Bay lead. Packers lead 17-6.
Bungled, blocked.
There is Trent Dilfer, who is a game guy today, and you knew that it got emotional for him. He'll give way now to the veteran Steve Walsh, as the Packers will kick off, leading 17-6 16 plays, 88 yards. More important, 10.5 minutes chewed up by Green Bay. And the Buccaneers still waiting to run their first offensive play of this fourth quarter. Riddell Anthony back deep at the 2, receiving Longwell's kick. Anthony, the rookie from Florida, dragged down at the 28-yard line. Buc fans have a lot to cheer about, but Steve Walsh, Tampa Bay is his 5th NFL team in 9 years. Those are his numbers, taking over for Trent Dilfer. First down on the Bucs 28. Bucs trail by 11, and Walsh's first pass, and that is caught by Carl Williams for a short gain. Trent Dilfer went out in the second quarter with a sprained right ankle after this play, the sack by Reggie White, and then Dilfer was carted off the field. And he came back in the second half, tried to give it a go, but certainly couldn't do much on that gimpy ankle, Matt.
And then it was the frustration on the sideline. I think he had himself a good cry, but I think Trent Dilfer may have taken another step of maturity here today.
No question about that. Second down and 7, and the pass overthrown, intended for Warrick Dunn. And right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Dick and Matt, Giants trying to make sure they determine their own way. Fake reverse. Tiki Barber, 42 yards. That sets up a Danny Cannell to Chris Callaway touchdown pass. 3 TDs today by Cannell. Giants on top, 28-14. Back to Dick and Matt.
And as you said, JB, the Giants can control their own fate and could take a 2-game lead over Philadelphia with the Redskins and Cardinals coming up in a little while. Third down and 7. And a flag down.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 70. 5 yards, still third down.
Jason Odom, the right tackle, who's tasked going into today, going against Reggie White.
Done a pretty good job.
Yes, he has.
Quietly done a pretty good job. He's getting some help, but that's fine. I mean, you knew going into it that he was going to have to do something over there, and he's gotten that part done.
Third down and 12 coming up for Steve Walsh. So a brief action against Detroit earlier in the year. Not played much, though. Here comes pressure on Walsh. And Walsh going up on top, and he has a receiver, and it's caught by Carl Williams. Williams makes the catch at the Green Bay 35-yard line. Darren Sharper finally got to him, but a gain of 38.
Nice job by Walsh. And feeling the pressure, but you know he doesn't have the big arm, but you don't have to. All you have to do is find a hole in the zone, and he throws it to where no one is. And an excellent job of Carl Williams. Look at the concentration. Over the shoulder and coming down with a catch.
4 catches for 80 yards for Carl Williams after being shut out back in October at Lambeau. That's a career-high yardage number for Carl Williams. First and 10 at the Packer 36. Off the hands of Dave Moore, the tight end. And that'll bring up second down and 10.
This Tampa Bay offense came out intent on picking the defenders. And they did it early, and they're doing it again. They do a nice job of running their routes, knowing that the defender for the back swinging out or the fullback swinging out has to be taken, and they just knock him off.
Reggie White on the sidelines here, and Packers having to spell both Gilbert Brown and Reggie White today. Second and 10, and here's Mike Allstott, has a bit of a hole, tripped up and gets to the 31-yard line. Gain of 5.
Dick, I'm sitting here watching this game, and it's coming down. Remember Riddell Anthony in the first quarter, wide open. He beats Tyrone Williams right there with the stumble, and he has 6 points written all over him, but his lack of concentration forces the incompletion.
And Anthony, highly regarded rookie, he and Warrick Dunn, first-round picks, shut out today. Third down and 5 for the Buccaneers in the shadows here in Tampa. Steve Walsh up the middle, overthrows his man, and Pryor makes the interception. He does. Mike Pryor picks it off as Steve Walsh trying to get to his tight end. Jackie Harris overthrows him, and the Packers get the ball back.
Right, Jackie Harris, and why we're mentioning them, I want you to watch right here. Here's Sharper, here's Harris. Tell me if you see any kind of a hold or anything, maybe right there. And because he gave him that little bit of a hold, he wasn't able to get into the flow, and the ball came off too high. And actually, it was a poor throw by Walsh, but Sharper's grab inside of Harris had something to do with that.
So that is the second turnover of the game by Tampa Bay, and time slipping away from them with a 17-6 lead. The Buccaneers will now call a timeout. This is a team that was 1-8 after 9 games last year. Second down and 8 for the Packers. Here's Dorsey Levens. And Nickerson gets him at the 20, and the Buccaneers will use their third and final timeout with 3:34. And next week they play the Jets on the road, and they close against the Bears here in Tampa. Third down and 5, and here's Dorsey Levens, and he's not going to get there. Derek Brooks stops him at the 20. So let's take a look at the NFC Central schedule. Packers will win the division if they hold on, and they're looking for home field throughout. The Bucs need 1 win for a playoff. Vikings schedule, and they play San Francisco next, coming up on Fox. And the Lions, very much alive right now. They would be the final wild card team. They play Miami later.
And they're past the roll. They're on a bagel. They got that offense humming.
Green cheese, sir.
It doesn't matter what it's with. I eat anything.
Carl Williams is back for the Buccaneers, and Craig Hentrick will kick.
Timeout by the Green Bay Packers. Mike Pryor standing right in front of the official to make sure he gets it down to the last second before he calls that timeout.
It was produced by Richard Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. And a special thanks to our technical engineers, Ken Fitzgerald, Mel Shields, Mike Muniz, Bill Kemper, and Pat Connolly. And of course, Dean Walker and his entire technical staff, another great job. Senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
And we didn't bungle that.
Can't do that. Buccaneers are out of timeouts. First down on their 48. They trail by 11. And the pass caught by Carl Williams and brought down by Doug Evans. Well, they haven't gone to Evans much tonight, and why not after his performance against Minnesota Monday night?
Not only Monday night, he's been playing very, very well this year.
Buccaneers out of timeouts. The next stoppage of the clock for a timeout will be the 2-minute warning. Walsh's pass is deflected at the line.
Leroy Butler got his hand on that thing. Leroy Butler is as much a defensive lineman as he is a linebacker, as he is a defensive back. I mean, the guy just he's molded all into one. And I agree with your assessment earlier about Leroy Butler, where you said, how often does a secondary man control a game the way he does? And in all phases of the game. Look at the great awareness. Gets his hands up, knocks the thing down.
Third down and 3. No one better at strong safety in the league than Leroy Butler. Steve Walsh pumps once, and the pass thrown underneath to Jackie Harris. And that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. And the I'll tell you what, that's not the Green Bay green, but I guess any shade will do as the pack.
The Chia Packers?
Chia Packers, right?
See, a couple years ago we had Macarena with cheese. Now we got the Chia Packers.
And the broadheads now are coming into play as well as the cheesehead.
I like those cheese rear end things they put on their keisters.
And the cheese shovels for Gilbert Brown when he shovels after making a play.
The old grave digger.
Fourth down and 1 for the Buccaneers. Their hopes, whether they continue right here. Walsh will throw, and it'll be dropped by Jackie Harris, and that'll turn it over to the Packers with 1:54 to go, and that will be that.
And that is a big win for the Packers. It's also a game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come out of and say, you know what, we're just as good as that team across the field.
But they'll have to wait for another year.
They will have to wait, but their season is not done, and they could still see Green Bay down the line this year.
So let's look at the standings, giving the Packers the victory. They have clinched their 3rd straight division title and will get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. The Tampa Bay Bucks 9-5, still very impressive. Need still one more win to gain the playoffs. The Bucks won their first 5, lost 3, won 3, and after losing to the Bears, beat the Giants last week, but could not get into a tie for first place today. And you know, Matt, the Green Bay Packers had to climb big mountains in beating the Dallas Cowboys, 2 hurdles, and then Minnesota on the road last week. They did that, and then they had this game again, and you wondered whether they could really stay above there for the 3rd straight week, and defensively they proved they could.
Well, I think they are where they were not a year ago, but they have that same kind of feel about them. And I think the biggest key is I think something clicked with Brett Favre right around that New England game. And I think the guy who made it click, and this may sound a little far-fetched, but I think Ross Verba is a main key in that whole thing.
Well, he came through because that position had been a problem even in the playoffs. And so the Packers, after being embarrassed, losing to the Indianapolis Colts, who were winless at the time, have responded with big wins against Dallas, Minnesota on the road, and now the Tampa Bay Bucks on the road. And the defense did the job today. The Packers limited Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott to a total of 67 yards rushing.
Now, we said at the start of the game that would be the key, and there's your key for you. They took away that running game, and then Favre did the rest.
So the game will be over. The Green Bay Packers shower Mike Holmgren with Gatorade. He has won his 3rd straight division title, and the Packers will get a bye in the first round, and now they're looking for home field advantage, which is still within range. Final score, the Packers 17, the Buccaneers 6, and our Energizer play of the game. And it was the first touchdown pass. Robert Brooks on the receiving end from Brett Favre.
And again, we talked about it earlier. This play brought to you by Brett Favre's feet. Because he's able to force the defense to readjust, he finds Brooks down the field, and it was 6 quick.
Brooks caught 3 passes for 71 yards. Antonio Freeman with a big game. And that is the story here. The Packers win before the largest crowd ever to see a game at Tampa Bay Stadium to see the Bucks. Final score 17-6. And when we come back, we'll be joined in our Hollywood studios. The Nasdaq stock market post-game report coming up. So for Matt Millen, Dick Stockton saying so long from Tampa.